When a woman has a high body count, it reflects her decisions and her perspective on intimacy. Unlike men, for whom intimacy often demands effort, value, and social proof, women can access sex with ease. It's not a challenge for them. It's always an option. A woman with a high body count isn't showcasing her value. She's demonstrating how freely she's given it away. And that has consequences, not just for how others see her, but for how she perceives herself. The ease of access and the lack of achievement. When it comes to intimacy, the differences between men and women are stark. For women, access to sex isn't just easy, it's constant. With a swipe on a dating app, a simple message, or even a flirtatious glance, a woman can have men vying for her attention. Men, biologically wired to pursue and socially conditioned to compete, must prove themselves worthy of a woman's interest. Women, on the other hand, don't need to prove anything to attract a partner. Their inherent desirability, particularly in their youth, grants them a power most men can only dream of. This ease creates a profound divide in how men and women perceive intimacy. For men, every encounter is hard-earned, requiring confidence, effort, and often social proof. For women, it's the opposite. Men will show up eager and willing, with little effort required on her part. For women with high body counts, this dynamic often strips intimacy of its meaning. Each partner becomes less about connection and more about convenience. A high body count doesn't signify achievement for women. It's not a mark of effort, value, or overcoming obstacles. It's an indulgence in abundance, a squandering of an inherent advantage. This turns intimacy into something transactional and fleeting, devoid of the deeper meaning it should hold. By indulging in this abundance without discernment, a woman diminishes the very thing that makes intimacy sacred: the spiritual and emotional toll of casual intimacy. Sex is far more than a physical act. It's an exchange of energy and emotions. When a woman engages with multiple partners, she's not just sharing her body, she's sharing her energy. Each partner leaves behind fragments of their essence, their intentions, and even their emotional baggage. This cumulative energy doesn't fade easily. It lingers, creating a chaotic and fragmented vibration that can weigh heavily on her spirit. Purity isn't just a societal construct, it's an energetic truth. A woman who reserves herself for meaningful connections preserves balance and clarity in her energy. However, a high body count dilutes this purity. It's like mixing too many colors on a palette. Eventually, it all turns into a murky gray. This isn't about shame, but about recognizing the spiritual cost of indiscriminate connections. Women with high body counts often struggle with inner peace and clarity. They feel emotionally fragmented, unsettled, and sometimes lost. Why? Because their energy carries the weight of too many fleeting encounters and unfinished emotional exchanges. This disruption doesn't just affect how they see themselves. It impacts how they connect with others and approach future relationships. Treating intimacy as casual lowers a woman's energetic vibration and diminishes her ability to bond deeply. Each encounter becomes less about connection and more about indulgence, leaving her more fragmented and less whole. This isn't empowerment. It's disempowerment masquerading as freedom. The biological cost of emotional bonding. Biology underscores the emotional toll of casual intimacy. During sex, a woman's brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone responsible for creating trust and deepening emotional attachment. This same hormone strengthens the bond between mother and child. It's what makes intimacy more than just physical. It's an emotional and spiritual union. However, the more casual partners a woman has, the less effective this bonding mechanism becomes. Repeated fleeting encounters dull the oxytocin response, making it harder for her to form deep, lasting emotional connections. Her body and mind become conditioned to view intimacy as disposable, stripping it of the trust and attachment it's meant to foster. This desensitization has real consequences. Women with high body counts often struggle to connect deeply with one partner. Their diminished ability to bond makes loyalty and commitment harder to sustain. Without the emotional anchors oxytocin provides, it becomes easier to seek validation or excitement elsewhere, destabilizing relationships further. A high body count doesn't just affect her ability to connect, it reshapes how she views intimacy. It becomes less about love and trust, and more about validation and control, undermining both her relationships and her sense of self-worth. Historical and cultural perspectives on purity. For centuries, men have valued a woman's purity as a reflection of her worth, discipline, and loyalty. Virginity was historically seen as a woman's ultimate gift to her partner, a symbol of respect for herself and her future bond. This wasn't just a cultural construct, but a universal truth rooted in biology, tradition, and faith. Across civilizations, virginity symbolized exclusivity and trust. A man's desire to feel that his connection with his partner is unique and untainted by past bonds is instinctive, not insecure. Religious traditions, such as those in Islam, emphasize chastity as the cornerstone of trust, loyalty, and respect in relationships. Virginity represents not control, but a commitment to building something sacred. Modern cultural shifts may downplay these values, but the underlying truths persist. A woman who values her purity signals restraint, discipline, and respect for intimacy. It's a message that transcends societal trends, resonating with the instinctual human desire for deep and untainted connection. The ripple effect on relationships. A high body count has a profound impact on relationships. Men, whether consciously or subconsciously, value purity. This isn't about control, but about forming a connection that feels exclusive and significant. Knowing he is his partner's first, or among very few, deepens a man's bond with her. Conversely, a high body count sends a signal of impulsivity, a lack of discernment, and disregard for intimacy's sanctity. Men may question her loyalty, ability to bond, or view of commitment. This doubt can erode trust, leading to cycles of insecurity and emotional distance that hurt both partners. It's not just about how men view her. Women with high body counts often struggle with their own sense of self-worth, creating barriers to forming meaningful and lasting connections. The sacredness of purity. Purity is a foundation for building strong, meaningful relationships. A woman who values her purity protects her physical body and preserves her ability to bond deeply, with intention. Historically and biologically, purity has been revered for good reason. When a woman treats intimacy as fleeting, she risks losing its essence. Each encounter becomes less about connection and more about indulgence, eroding her sense of self-worth and intimacy's power to foster trust and loyalty. Men instinctively recognize this. Purity symbolizes exclusivity and a bond untouched by others. A woman who preserves herself shows respect for her future partner and for herself, creating the foundation for an unbreakable connection. The bottom line. A high body count doesn't just impact reputation. It affects a woman's ability to connect, bond, and build relationships grounded in trust and loyalty. Every choice leaves a mark, and for women, those marks accumulate, shaping their energy, relationships, and self-perception. Intimacy isn't just a right, it's a responsibility. By valuing purity and treating intimacy as sacred, women can protect their energy, preserve their self-respect, and build meaningful relationships. Purity isn't a societal expectation. It's a gift a woman gives herself and her future. In the end, the choices made today determine the connections and relationships built tomorrow. By valuing intimacy and treating it with reverence, women ensure their relationships aren't just successful, but sacred.